Righty, well, ho, chaps and chappets, Scone Chap and Bertie here.
Yes.
Yes, indeed, fellows, and I dare say we are now discussing here the top 5 reasons why autoplay levels should be banned, or could be banned, in Super Mario Maker on Wii U.
Right, so Super Mario Maker, why should these auto levels be banned? Now the thing is, those that are listening, they may say, well, what is an auto level thing play?
Auto Mario, or
Auto
autoplay level, that's right.
Okay, well what it is, it's when the uploader who's uploading the course just sits there and makes a little course.
Yes.
But when the player comes to play it, they don't really have to do anything. They just guide him through and he just goes rushing through and he's pushed through the course, as it were. He doesn't actually, the user doesn't have to really input anything.
Right, so basically Mario is guided through the course automatically by himself without the player having to do any button commands at all.
Well, most certainly, yes, indeed.
Sometimes you have variations on that theme where, for example, it might say just run or just walk. Basically, that's a kind of a spin-off of Auto Mario, if you will. Now, of course, these levels are quite a fun and novel concept by themselves, and many have no doubt found them interesting. But nowadays, it seems some people are saying, well, there's just too many of these jolly auto levels all over Mario Maker.
Well, most certainly, yes. I mean, there's a lot of them out there.
Yes.
They seem to be all over the, online upload place.
The platform, of course,
The
of
platform.
Course World, that's right, and it's
Course.
getting quite prolific. Now, of course, what would be the top 5 reasons for banning these creations? Well, in at number 5 we have the first reason here. They, of course, focus on the skill of the uploader instead of the skill of the player.
Exactly. Now, that's the thing, you see. So the uploader sat there, spent ages working the darn thing out.
Yes.
How can you do this? Oh, yes, that's it. So the player then comes along, online, going to play a few courses, etc., picks it up, and of course he just jumps or initiates the initial thing that he has to do with little Mario.
Right.
And the thing goes running through the course while he sits there, and he can probably go out and make some tea, take the dog for a walk or something,
Well,
and then
yes.
when he comes back, it's done.
So
where's
basically-
the skill in that? Apart from maybe you got clever at taking the dog for a walk.
These Auto Mario levels, exactly, they are designed mainly to entertain the uploader who can say, look at all these people who've played my auto level course that took me so long to do, but actually they don't really provide that much entertainment to the player because, of course, the player says, oh, well, that was fun, yes, next. And, of course, once you've seen one Auto Mario course, you've seen them all.
So there's one possible reason why they should very well be banned.
They should, and I think I saw the first Auto Mario course, what was it, 10 years ago? I'm not sure, old boy. A very long time ago, so these are by no means anything new. And of course, in at number 4 we have the second reason. It's that you can't actually play the game in these Auto Mario courses. It's more like watching a movie, really, old boy.
Well, I suppose you're right, really, yes. I mean, there you come along to play the game. You want to have a go at Mario Maker, and then you go to this course, and of course, you can't play it, as you said.
Exactly. It's quite frustrating when you go to, particularly the course world or something like that, you click on a course expecting to play and it says, well, just sit there. It's
Exactly, you can just
the
get
purpose.
that there, there might be a bit of a draft or whatever, prop the door shutter open with it, with the old pad there, and you can just sit there and watch it happen.
Exactly.
So there's nothing really going on. There's
That's
another
right.
reason why they should be banned, but just chipping this in. I mean, maybe that's a bit strong. Maybe they shouldn't be banned completely. Maybe they should just be put in a little segment where there's only so many allowed or something like that online. I don't know.
Perhaps the number of courses, of autoplay courses, should be restricted online, or perhaps they should have their own separate segment and a part of Course World where only autoplay courses are found, so people who just want to play Mario don't stumble across them by accident. Then, of course, in at number 3 we have the next reason, and I found this quite frustrating myself. The jolly autoplay courses are absolutely everywhere in the 100 Mario challenge, especially in easy mode, and of course it's very, very boring. You're sitting down there expecting to play the 100 Mario challenge, and of course it says on the screen, don't move, don't touch any buttons, Auto Mario. I mean, that defeats the purpose of the 100 Mario challenge, where of course the objective is to get through 8 or 16 courses with only 100 lives.
I was just going to say to you then, for those listening that weren't sure what that was, what is the 100 Mario challenge?
Well, of course, it takes randomly selected courses in either easy, normal, or expert classes. You have 100 lives to clear through either 8 or 16 such courses. Quite a good idea, but of course, auto levels completely spoil it.
Well, hang on, yes, I'm just thinking there. So it's like a cheat, isn't it?
Well, really?
I mean, really, if you don't have to do anything, if it's a challenge and you really, the course is already made so that he runs through it automatically, then you could use that to cheat the 100 Mario challenge, surely.
Exactly, because if it's a 100 Mario challenge, but the autoplay courses aren't challenging at all, it completely defeats the entire purpose of the challenge.
Of course it does, yes indeed.
So there you go, Fiddles. Now, of course, in at number 2, the next reason, and this is quite an important one, I have to say, these autoplay courses are taking the place of good levels submitted by other users in Course World. So people who have designed and cleverly come up with, clever and nice ideas for levels, if they submit their course up to the internet, and of course it gets, quite a few votes and quite a few stars and quite some popularity, the danger is that autoplay courses might rob that course of a spot in the top 10 or top 100 list.
Oh, now the thing is we've got to sit down now and get a little bit serious.
Yes.
A little bit serious, rubbing the base of our chin, maybe a little bit of grimacing and things like that, the edge of the lip going up.
Yes.
Because this is a little bit serious.
Yes,
we've got
that's
people out there working hard to make these levels in their own time, or whatever it is, having time off work or school or whatever, just to make these levels, but it's so important. And when they've done it all, and they've made it, it's maybe taken them hours to do. It's a huge level, very complicated, loads of boxes, blocks everywhere. When they've done that, they submit it, and it's booted out of that position by someone that has done an auto level,
Yes.
and just done it in 5 minutes. Some big thing just you can boom, and that's it done.
Well, now let's just take the example, in this case, for instance, if we had, 10 or 20 autoplay courses in the top 100, okay?
Yes.
Let's just consider that situation for a moment. Now, of course, that means that the courses in at numbers 101 to 120 all won't have a spot, but if the autoplay courses weren't there, then the ones at 101 to 120 would all have a spot in the top 100 list. So this is not some hypothetical game, it's actually happening as we speak in the course world. Autoplay courses are taking the place of other courses which are undoubtedly very good creations out there, just not being seen because of the menace, as it were, of autoplay courses. And I think, there's a certain appeal to these autoplay or Auto Mario courses, but if it's come to the stage where they're robbing other users of the limelight for their great creations, it's time we should really say, well, this is no good, it's got to stop.
Well, it's interesting. I suppose you could argue on that second one, the number 2, that an auto play course itself could be good if it was designed, with a lot of clever things happening in it. But then maybe the way that it should be judged in that particular category you're talking about should be, the input from the player. The actual player playing the game determines, whether it's a good level or not, because it's got to have some player input in it.
Well, if you look around the community, old chap, the general consensus among many people seems to be they're getting a bit fed up of all these autoplay courses.
Well, they are, yes, indeed. And are they calling for bans?
Well, I don't know.
I think it's some, tone it down or something.
Well, I don't know. Of course, disgruntlement and discontent inevitably does lead, I say, to things like bans and restrictions and all whatnot to keep these things out of the limelight. And of course, I think all of the reasons we've just covered can be summed up in the number 1 reason why perhaps autoplay courses should be banned from Super Mario Maker, and that is they're just not Mario.
This is the number 1 reason. You see, it's not, it can be said in 3 words. It's not Mario.
Exactly.
It's not Mario, is it?
It's not Mario.
Because if you're just sitting there, right the way back to 1980s or wherever he first came out, all these games, all have been about people sort of hanging over there, what were then sort of Game Boy or whatever it is, and later on the other consoles, working very, very hard to try to get him through the levels, defeating the Goombas and all the rest of it that's out there, the Chaps, whatever it was, Bowser, and getting through. And of course, if you take that element away, then you take away the whole thing of Mario being Mario, really.
You have to consider the point, realistically, do you seriously think Nintendo haven't had that idea over the last 30 years to make an autoplay course in Super Mario? And then, of course, no doubt we can clearly see they have had that idea, but we have to ask ourselves the question, why have they never included an autoplay course in Super Mario Bros. Across the entire series? I think the answer is quite simple, and that is, of course, that once again, it's just not Mario. Mario is designed to be a challenge for the players, not some movie they go along and watch, I say. It's not a movie, it's a computer game where the idea is to get to the goal pole and beat the challenge along the way, not put the disc or the game pack in and watch as Mario completes the level by himself. That's not how the game's supposed to be.
Well, indeed. The elements that are used to making the auto levels, they put them in there, I suppose, so maybe Nintendo knew that could actually happen, or perhaps they didn't plan for them to use it necessarily that way, maybe.
I don't realistically think that perhaps Nintendo anticipated this number and this quantity of auto autoplay courses flooding the scene. I don't think anyone could perhaps have predicted that, or perhaps some people did. But in any case, fellows, I have to say there's surely got to be some truth to the possibility that autoplay courses should indeed be banned if they're taking away entertainment factor and enjoyment for players of Super Mario Maker.
Well, most certainly, yes, indeed. I mean, should they? I mean, this is the top 5 reasons, really, that we said why they should be banned. And I mean, they're good reasons. Don't know what you Chaps, Chapettes and general listeners out there think. But, should this be banned? Or should they at least be put in, governed some way, restricted
Put
somehow?
in their own category, perhaps.
Yes, their own category or something.
Discouraged.
Yes,
that kind of thing.
Exactly, because as you said, all these people doing these levels, they love the levels, they've worked hard on them, and then all these auto levels spamming the whole thing out.
Yes, and people may say, oh, well, don't worry, they'll get bored of them sooner or later. But of course, that's just the problem. The people making these autoplay courses certainly aren't going to get bored of them because they're getting all this limelight and all these internet points and stars for making these courses. And of course, it's a good challenge for autoplay makers to make an interesting autoplay course. The only problem is, it's not necessarily so much fun for the players on the other end. And I really think a game like Super Mario has to be all about the players, old chap.
It most certainly does, yes indeed. So there are 5 top reasons there. Why don't you throw your pennyworth in the comments, see what you think.
Indeed, fellows, there you are. Should autoplay courses be banned in Super Mario Maker? That's our thoughts. Do let us know what you think. This has certainly been Game Chap and Bernie. Thank you most kindly for joining us, I say. And we look forward to seeing you once more the next exciting outing, my word.
Yes,
Until then.